Hey guys, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to another board game video, and welcome to the new setup. I am absolutely loving this. I love having a table in front of me because all of the board games are beside me. I have my coffee here. I have a place to rest my arms. It's great. Also, the lighting is looking a lot better than the last video that I filmed in this location, which makes me very happy. I actually have discovered that the natural light from the window is not good. I think it's because the window is like slightly up because we are in a basement. The window is like at the top of the wall. It kind of shines at a weird angle that glares against the board games. So yeah, I've decided window stays closed and we are just using a natural light from this room. So yes, without further ado, we're gonna get into this video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about all of the games that we played in March of 2020. I did play a lot of games that we played last month as well, but I'm not going to talk about those. If you guys want to go and see those, I will put the video, the February, what we played in February video here. And then shortly after that, I will put another thing here because if you guys haven't gone and seen the video where I redid this board game room, definitely recommend going and checking it out because it was such a fun video to film, such a fun video to edit, and I really love that video. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. But without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping and we're going to get into all the games that we played in March of 2022. Granted, it is like March 30th right now, but I don't think we're going to be playing anything that I need to talk about in the next 2 days. So yes, let's get into the video, shall we? So this month we played a bunch of roll and writes, so I wanted to talk about those ones first. I have a little pile of 3 roll and writes here. We also played Hadrian's Wall, which is one of my favorites, and I believe I played Dinosaur Island Roll and Write by myself, a solo game, which I definitely recommend. It's a great solo game. But the first new roll and write that we played this month is the first in the who is the 2 guys? Benjamin Pinchback and Matthew D. Riddle. These 2 gentlemen, they designed 3 different roll and writes. This is the first one. There's one more, and then there's also Motor City, which I believe is still on Kickstarter or just finished on Kickstarter. I'm not 100% sure, but this is the first in a little roll and write trilogy that they have come out with. So this is Fleet the Dice game. It was published by Eagle Griffin Games. This is one that often gets talked about very highly, and I was super excited to try it out. It is such a good game. It is Fleet the Dice game, and you are playing as sailors, fishermen, fishing for different types of fish and sea creatures, and you're doing different things with dice. So basically these roll and writes, they are true roll and writes where you are rolling a bunch of die. This one has 2 different sets of die because you have 2 different rounds, I guess. There is the fishing phase, that's the right word. There's the fishing phase, there's an income phase where you just get money, and then there is a like market phase or town phase. So you roll the fish die in order to draft those. So you're taking one, the next player's taking one, the next player's taking one, and the next player's taking one. You draft the die and then you do something with that die. You mark off something. The overall actions of these games are very simple. It is just the like puzzly, what do I mark off type of thing that makes it a little bit thinky and complicated and puzzly. So that is honestly why I love these types of games so much. It's just, there's so many options for you to go for. Do I scratch off the shrimp so I can get this to get me this to get me this? All of the like connections in it are just so much fun. But yeah, so you're rolling the fish die, you're drafting the fish die that you want, you scratch off that thing might get you another thing, and then once everyone is done with the fishing phase, you move on to the income phase where you're just getting money from certain things on your papers. And the cash actually allows you eventually, once you get to a certain number, you get free actions that you can do. So there's so many connections with this game. And then you're finishing off with, oh, there's actually a fishing phase as well where you're adding fish to your boats and then you go to the town phase, where on the other sheet there's a bunch of different buildings that you can scratch off. It is honestly, there's a lot going on the sheets, but it is such a simple like action that you're doing. You're just scratching off different things that are leading to other things. So definitely recommend this one. It is a little bit more of a heavy roll and write, but I love this so much, and I actually really liked the theme of this one, the fishing. At first I was like, I don't know about that, but it's actually really fun, and I definitely recommend Fleet the Dice game. Moving on to the second game in Ben and Matt's roll and write little trilogy. This is Three Sisters. This one actually just recently came to retail. I think it was in sometime in early March. I pre-ordered this in, I believe it was like January, and got it in early March. And this one, I think I like this one more than Fleet the Dice game. It's so hard because they both are very similar. It's just slight differences in the gameplay. Again, with this one, you have different die that you are drafting to do different things. But with this one, it's kind of cool because you have a main board that you're rolling the die and then placing the die in ascending order on this little rondelle track, and you get to do 2 actions based on what the die number is as well as where the die was placed. So it's really fun. It is obviously about gardening, and there are pumpkins, peas, what is it? There's 3 different vegetables that grow really well together. Pumpkins, beans, and corn. No peas. I don't know where I got peas from. So those are the 3 vegetables, I guess, that you are harvesting and gardening in your gardens on the one sheet. There's also perennials and like flowers that do different things. And then you have on your other sheet, you have your shed as well. So it's kind of similar. The shed is very similar to the town in Fleet the Dice game. Like I said, these two are very similar in gameplay. There's just slight changes, obviously, with the theme. There's different things that you're doing, but they're very similar. So I would say if one theme resonates with you a little bit more, gardening or fishing, I would definitely check them both out. They are fairly affordable. You get a ton of amazing gameplay out of them, and it's just such a good one. This one is actually published by Motor City Gameworks and 25th Century Games, and I believe Motor City is the 3rd in this trilogy, and they are also being published by the same one as Three Sisters. Not 100% sure though, but yeah, Motor City, I believe, I don't know if I mentioned, but I think it's on Kickstarter right now. If not, it just recently ended. But those two, I also really do love that they are both like the exact same size, and I'm very tempted to get Motor City as well just to finish the trilogy, but I don't know because it's like an automotive kind of industry manufacturing type of theme, which doesn't really resonate with me, but it does look like a really fun game. It looks a little bit more complicated than the last 2 that I talked about, but they look absolutely amazing. So I might end up getting Motor City once it comes to retail. But anyways, that is number 2, Three Sisters. And then the 3rd roll and write game that we played, or actually I played in March, is Rolling Realms. This is published by Stonemaier Games, and I believe it was designed by Jamie Stegmaier, who's the owner of Stonemaier Games. But Rolling Realm is a very interesting roll and write because Jamie, I believe, designed this during the pandemic, and it was basically for people to be able to play over like Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that, because it is, you can play it, like very far away from each other. You just need to know the numbers that are being rolled on the die, and if you have your certain cards or whatever. A lot of roll and writes, granted, are like this. I don't think Three Sisters and Fleet the Dice game you couldn't, because it's more of like you're drafting the die that you have there physically. But with this one, you just need the 2 numbers. Everyone's using the same numbers, so you can play it over Zoom or over FaceTime, like I said. So basically, you have these cards. Each card is like a little mini roll and write in itself, and each card is actually a game that Stonemaier Games has published. So they have a card for Wingspan, they have a card for Between Two Castles, Between Two Cities, they have a card for Viticulture, all of the different Stonemaier games, which I absolutely love. And you're doing 3 of these at a time. So basically this one can be played over Zoom or FaceTime. That is why he designed it. And he actually designed it I believe it was like free, like print and play kind of thing, because all you really need are the cards that you're playing with and then 2 die, and everyone uses the 2 numbers that are rolled. So you can play this again over Zoom or FaceTime, which is really nice. But with this one, you just have your 3 cards, you roll the 2 die, and then you're doing things with those 2 die numbers, and it's just a really, really fun game. Everyone's using the same 3, you're using the same numbers, you're doing, I think, 9 different rounds of 2 numbers, placing those numbers in the different realms. Each of the game cards are different realms, and it is just overall a very fun it's a very fun roll and write. I played the solo variant of it, which is super fun, and it's actually like this little golf course, so each of the holes is like a different challenge that you're doing. It tells you the 3 realms that you're playing with, very specific, and then it has some like rules and stuff that you have to go by, and it's just a lot of fun. I think I played like the first 3 or 4 holes, and I'm excited to play that with more people, obviously, and continue with the solo variant. So yes, that is Rolling Realms, and that is all of the roll and writes that we have for today. Moving on to the remaining 4 games. I am only talking about 7 right now, but like I said, we played some other ones. We did play Catan, which I don't really think I need to chat about Catan or Catan, I don't know what people say. But we played that, we played a few other games. We played Calico again, we played the Whatnot Cabinet again, we played Dog Lover again. There's just like ones that we tend to like go to when Francis' parents come over, or if we go and hang out with my parents or our friends Tom and Asha. We ended up playing, we played Caverna, actually. That was a good one. But anyways, moving on to the 4 remaining. The first one I didn't want to take off the shelf, but that is Wingspan. Francis and I actually played Wingspan with the Oceania expansion for the first time, and it was a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it. It doesn't like bring anything crazy to the game. It just adds a little bit more. You get the nectar coins and you get some more birds and stuff like that. It's just very, very fun. You get the new boards, which I really love the art on the new boards. A lot of people don't like it, but I really like the like dark kind of like night kind of scene on the new boards. But if you haven't played a Wingspan before, basically it is a bird watching game, I guess. It's a very popular one. Everyone really, really loves this game. It's one that not only was popular within the board game community, but it also went out of that and got some people into the hobby, which I really love. But yeah, Wingspan is one where you're playing birds, you're getting resources or food, you're laying eggs on those birds, and it's a really cool action system where there are 3 different lines and you're putting the birds in those 3 lines, and whenever you do the top action, which would be, you know, get food, you would put your little marker to the end of that line or that row, and then you activate all of the birds in that row's actions. So all the birds have different things that they do, which I really love that action selection kind of mechanism that Jamie did in that game. But yes, Wingspan is a really good one. I definitely recommend it. It is published by Stonemaier Games, just like Rolling Realms, and it was designed by Elizabeth Hargrave, which we love seeing women designers. Woohoo! But anyways, yes, that was number 4. And then next up is a game that Francis and I actually just played for the second time last night, and that is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This was actually sent to us as a review copy, and I believe it is like the collector's edition, so it does have the double layered boards, which I'm very happy we got for it. But yeah, huge thank you to the publisher Stronghold Games for that. This was published by them, and then it was designed by Jacob, Nick, and Sydney, and this is the faster, more streamlined version of Terraforming Mars. It is a card game. Neither Francis or I have played Terraforming Mars, and we are interested in possibly playing it in the future. But this one I feel like is really good if you want the feel of Terraforming Mars, but you don't want such a long and in-depth game. But yeah, like I said, this is a card game, and the one thing I love about this game is it has this really cool phase selection system where all the players have 5 different cards. They're all of the 5 different phases that you can choose, and each player is choosing one of the phases that they want to perform. They're putting it face down in front of them, and then all of the players flip the phase that they want to perform over, and then everyone gets to perform all of the phases that were chosen. So for example, Francis and I have only played with 2 players, so you usually only get to do 2 at most, but sometimes Francis and I would choose the same phase, so unfortunately we would only be able to do the 1 phase. But I really want to try this with more players. I feel like having more phases will make it go even faster, and I'm really excited to try it with more people. But basically with Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, you are trying to make Mars inhabitable and profitable, I guess. And you have this public board where there are 2 different gauges, I guess. One is the oxygen level, and then one is the temperature. You're trying to get both of those all the way up, and then you're also trying to flip different ocean tiles. I guess that's like you're trying to make Mars inhabitable, so you're trying to get the oxygen to the correct level, you're trying to get the temperature to a inhabitable level, and then you're trying to get oceans on Mars. I guess that's kind of how the theme goes, but it's really fun. And once all of those 3 things are finished, you end the game, and it is a like tableau building game, so you are buying cards to place in front of you. Those cards are allowing you to do different things. There is a phase called action where you get to kind of activate all of the cards that you have in front of you. It's really, really fun. I definitely recommend it, and I'm super excited, like I said, to play it with more than 2 players. But yeah, that is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. And then the second to last game is a lot more simple and a lot cuter than Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, but that is Sushi Roll. If you've never heard of Sushi Go Party or Sushi Go, this is the dice version of that. We do have Sushi Go Party and absolutely love playing it with family and friends. It's just a very light, fun game. But basically, in Sushi Go and Sushi Go Party, you have cards that you're drafting with different sushi. So you're taking one card and giving it to the next person. With this one, you're doing the same thing, but it is with dice. So everyone rolls 6 die and puts it on their little like conveyor belt, and you're picking one of the dice, so it's kind of like you're picking the sushi that you want to have, and then you're handing off the rest to the person beside you. You get more from the other person beside you, and then you're just continuing to draft until you have all of your sushi or your die in front of you, and then you score all of those sushi in different ways. Like if you get 3 sashimi, you get a certain amount of points and stuff like that. It is such a fun, just light game. We played this with Francis's parents in March, and we absolutely love it. Definitely recommend if you do enjoy Sushi Go or Sushi Go Party. This is a good one to have as well, and that is Sushi Roll. And then the last, but certainly not least, this is one that Francis and I have played 2 or 3 times now, and we love this game. It is probably the heaviest out of all of the ones that I've talked about today, and that is Maracaibo. This is such a good game. It is published by Capstone Games, and it is designed by Alexander Pfister. He is actually the same person that published Great Western Trail, which we love as well, and I think he has a new one called Boone Lake, which I really want to try. But in Maracaibo, you are sailing around the Caribbean, I believe, and you are doing different things. Very much like Great Western Trail, it is a rondelle. Alexander Pfister loves his rondelles, but you are just going around this rondelle track, so you're going around and around doing different things. You are selling goods to get money, you are doing different things on your ship, you are hiring people. It is again like a tableau building game, so you are paying to put a card down in front of you, and then you get a bunch of different cards that end up doing different things. There is also like an influence kind of thing, or like I guess it's kind of area control, where you are placing cubes on different parts of the rondelle track, and you're getting points based off of how many of each. I believe there's 3 different nations, blue, red, and white, and you're getting different points for those and doing different things. It's a little bit complicated because it is a pretty heavy game. I believe this is one of the heavier games that we have, but it is such a fun one. I will be putting some clips over top of it, or over top this video so you guys can see, but it is such a good one. I definitely recommend. And that is the last one, Maracaibo. So that is everything for this video. These are all of the games that we played in March. Obviously, like I said, these are not the only games. I just don't want to talk about the same ones over and over again if I've already chatted to you guys about them. So these are all the ones that we have yet to chat about. I absolutely loved all of these games. I do think that I want to do at the end of these videos like my top 3 of the month, and I think which ones did I like the best? I really do love roll and writes, so I don't think all 3 roll and writes are going to be my top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This one I think was like the biggest surprise of the month. I didn't think that I would like it as much as I do because I'm not the hugest fan of like card games, like heavier card games, I guess, but Ares Expedition was super fun. Really love it, and I'm really excited to try it with more than just 2 people. So that is my number 3, and then number 2 is going to be Fleet the Dice Game, and number 1 is going to be Three Sisters. I am just a sucker for a heavy roll and write. It has just been so much fun to play these 2 games. I really can't pick one that I like too much more than the other. I do think Three Sisters, I just like the gardening. I think it's a cuter kind of theme, but I really do like the fisherman theme of Fleet the Dice Game as well. But yes, those are my top 3. I really did enjoy Rolling Realms as well, but I have only played it at solo or like at 1 player, so I really want to try it with more players. I feel like that's when I will really start to like it. Maracaibo is very heavy. It's a very heavy game, and it's one that I'm just not good at, so I do want to play it more to try to get a better strategy down. It is a really amazing game, and I really enjoyed that. And then Sushi Roll is just a light, fun game. It's definitely not going to be one that I like run to like play all the time, but it is a fun one to play with family. So I really enjoyed all of them. Obviously, Wingspan is one of my favorites. It's in my top 10, or it was. I'm not sure if it's in my top 10 anymore because we have gotten a lot of games since I did my top 10 in like November of last year. But anyways, let me know if you liked this video down below. What games did you play in March? I would love to know. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Also subscribe if you have yet to do so. I would love to have more board game lovers here on my channel. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I love you so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you guys in